Everybody's the Richardson family. We are coming at you with another video. Today's video is going to be about how we got our house. We've been here since September. We did not announce it. We did not talk about it. We just are private people, but it's something that God did for us that was big. So I figured I'd get on here and talk about it. But I did get on my Facebook today and I did get on live and I said that I was going to come out with testimonies, that I was going to talk about certain things, that God did for us. Okay, so I'm going to get straight into it. So we was living, I'm not going to go there. I think I should start from the beginning. That's probably the best part. Okay, so when me and my husband first got together, he had his own apartment. I moved in. This is before we was married. Then we ended up moving from that apartment to moving into a small shotgun house. We rented it for I think $475 or something like that. And it was just me, him, and our first son. So that house, the apartment, it was not really a good apartment. It had so many issues. This little house, when first living, it was it was an upgrade from where we was at, so we didn't want to complain, but that house had many issues. And the reason why I'm starting from the beginning is because it led up to now. But anyways, the shotgun house was on the south side. We stayed there, and in that house, it was just I didn't want to complain. I was content, but the Lord knew that it was just becoming too much. So basically, we had a mouse problem, and the landlord was in the beginning he was doing his job, but toward the end he just became a slumlord. So the problem got worse to where the mice literally ate the wiring behind the wall. No, the mouse, they didn't eat the wiring behind the wall. They ate the wiring behind the refrigerator and messed up the stove. So we couldn't really use those. They had to keep coming to try to repair it. Then they had to actually replace, the refrigerator. I don't know if they replaced the stove. That was so long ago. And then on top of that, and while we was here at this house, we had our second son, Joshua, and we were there still, and it was just horrible. And then it got to the point where the wiring kind of fried behind the wall, like where our bedroom was. And we would complain and ask them, could they fix it? Then it got to a point where when the wiring fried behind that part of the wall, or whatever had happened, it was just horrible. We tried to get them to fix it, but instead of them wanting to fix it, they tried to illegally evict us. They made up so many accusations. First, they sent us a letter, and I don't want to all the way blame the man, because he was just trying to upkeep the property. That was his job. It was his wife. She was the actual property manager. But anyways, it was just getting bad. It was just getting gross and bad. And then it was mold growing. So then we had an inspector to come out, and the inspector wrote up the different things that was going on with it. Like, we did our homework, because she sent a letter saying that she's going to be evicting us because we didn't pay this, and some whole bunch of other junk that was not true. And talking about how we skipped out on renting, things like that wasn't true. So I guess she thought that since we were young and I guess black, we didn't know nothing. But we kept every rent receipt, every document, all of that. We kept some of the what do we call those? Money order receipts. So we went to court, and it was scary because it was like we innocent in the situation to get this person coming at us. And I remember God said, I got y'all back. I'm going to come through for you. So me and my husband, we were struggling to fast, but we did fast. We fast for I think 2 days, maybe 3. I think it might have just been 2 days, or it could have been 3. I can't even remember. But it was something like that. And I remember that when the day of court came, we fasted that day. We did not eat. And we brought our kids to court with us because we didn't have a babysitter. So we had to take turns coming in and out the courtroom. And then I think it even came to a point where they actually had someone to sit out there with our kids while we go in there. So it was cool. So when we went in there, I remember that the person, I guess the judge was just asking, questions like she should. And, the accusations that they said was that we missed a lot of payments for rent, and, we caused them things to fry behind the thing. Like, we had evidence, we had pictures, mold, the statement from the city inspector. We had pictures of the mouse infestation that we couldn't control because we kept our house clean. You just can't control a problem that's eternal. Like, you just can't. That has to be dealt professionally. You can put out as many traps as you want, but if it's not dealt with pest control professionally, you can't do that. So we did all we did. We kept our house clean, did all this different stuff. We kept all our rent receipts, all our money order receipts, all our documents, our lease. We kept all our information, and she didn't think it was going to happen with that. So when we got there, we're literally standing before the judge, and they're standing, the lady, the landlord, she's standing right there, and her lawyer's standing right there. And so her lawyer comes up, and the judge is talking to him, and she's saying that, her accusations is saying that you guys did not pay. So we presented all our documentation and our evidence and our pictures and all these different things, rent receipts, because we kept all our rent receipts. We made sure we always got a rent receipt. I guess she didn't think we kept it. We kept every rent receipt from when we first time we moved in there up until that point. So, and let me tell you, we had to be like out of there type stuff because of this court appearance, if they, just horrible. Anyways, so after that had happened, what happened after that? Oh, when we was in the courtroom and they were talking to us, they were saying like, let's see this other documentation. So we gave it to them, and then God said, wait, I got it. So then I remembered that the man was lying, like the landlord was lying, she was lying, her lawyer, he was lying. So what I did, I didn't really care but nobody knew what I was doing. But in my mind, I was like, the Lord rebukes you because you were lying. Like, Jesus rebukes you. And so when I started to rebuke him in my mind, I didn't say it out loud, I rebuked him in my mind, he started stumbling on his words, and she did too. And it didn't make sense to the judge, to the point where the man tried to snatch our evidence out of my husband's hand, the rent receipt. And my husband was like, hold on, man, what you doing? Like, why are you trying to snatch my rent receipt? And everybody in the courtroom who had cases with their landlord was sitting in the pews seeing this. And they're like, why he doing it? So automatically, with all the documentation and the evidence that we presented, the landlord was found negligent in the situation. We were found innocent. We got our money back. And then the landlord was so scandalous, we ended up paying him an extra month, not even knowing. And she never said that. And we got that money back. And then we got a little bit of extended time to be able to get ourselves together, our ducks in a row, to be able to find a different place. And I think that was back in like 2015, because that's when we had Josh, and he was close to turning one. It was 2015, going on 2016, something like that. But yeah, it was 2015. No, it was 2016. Yeah, it was 2016 because Joshua's birthday was April coming up. Yep, he was going on one. It was 2016, and it was February when we moved out of there. Now, we drove around everywhere, and we asked God to lead us to a place where we could rent, and he led us to this house that's in South County. Now, it had a lot of space because we had Joshua, and BJ, and then it was me and my husband at the time. So we needed extra space. This house was a 3-bedroom, 2-story house for rent. The rent, I can't even really remember, like $700. But at first it was cheaper than that, but then they boosted up to $700. But anyways, yeah. So we lived there, and it was okay at first. It was spacious, but I will say this, each time God moved us, he always upgraded us in a way. But anyways, we was living there in South County, and it was cool. You know, the school district was wonderful. My son had a wonderful. Both my boys had a wonderful preschool, wonderful elementary school, wonderful community. The community is really involved in different things, especially education. I love that. But anyways, when we first moved there, it was fine. Um, but we had our problems there. We definitely did. But it got bad at the end. But in the beginning, it was fine. But we had like I guess the house was really old, and I guess whoever used to live there really tore it up, so they just renovated it. But it was a mouse problem. Not only was there a mouse problem, there was a frog problem every spring. Every time spring came, frogs would come up with the sewer, and I am terrified of frogs. I do not like those things. But living there, it was cool. It was way better than that one house that we was at. But it got bad too. Like it had mold, it had frogs, and it had mice. And it was we had AC, but I guess the AC system was new, but the furnace was old, so it threw off the I guess the airflow to circulate upstairs to the upstairs rooms. So we had to put two AC units in the rooms upstairs, and it was just ooh, electricity bill was not on fleek. It was so high, it was like crazy. But anyways, we was living there, and then it started to get really bad to where the mold made us sick, and also the mice. It was just a bad. We had like a field that was behind us, like we had like a real small backyard, but it was like a field, and it was field mice coming in, and a lot of neighbors said it was normal because they got mice too, but it was just we just didn't want to deal with that again after we just got out of it. So it was just like we was trying to tell them, and who we was renting from, they did send repairmen to, you know, fix different things. So, but it was just like, I don't know. They sent the repairman to fix these different things, and it's just they tried their best. They really did, but it was kind of like the mold was getting out of control. And we had wasp nests. Wasps was getting in the house. Always had to kill wasps and spiders. It was just too much. So, anyways, I remember that I was just talking to my husband about all this. I'm like, man, I am content because it's more spacious, but I just don't want to deal with all this other stuff because it's a little bit stressful. And then we was getting a little bit sick, and then I had my other son Josiah, and then we had Olivia there, and so it was just getting a little too much. And I remember I was talking to my husband about it, but I also talked to my godparents about it, and they just said, well, just pray about it. And then I remember I talked to my godmother again, and my godfather. My godmother told me, well, first my godfather told me that, yeah, my wife want to tell you something. So I was like, okay. So I got on the phone with my godmother, and she was saying that God showed her. Well, this was it. When we, yeah, this is exactly what happened. She said God showed her that we were going to get, that God was going to bless us with a house of our own. So I was like, first I didn't receive. I ain't gonna lie, I had that doubt. Like, us with a house. I was putting limitations on what God could do. God forgive me for that, but I was though. She was like, God gonna bless y'all with a house, and I'm like, you for real? So she was telling us that, and I was excited, but I didn't know how soon it was. I thought maybe like years from now, maybe like 3 years from now, 2 years from now. I didn't know, but she said that God showed her that He was gonna bless us with a house. So I remember all these problems. After she told us, that's when like all the other problems just start happening with this house. I'm like, what is going on? So it was roof problems. Like I'm telling you, it started really getting bad. So we talked to our leasing company to try to see if we could find something to rent. They didn't have no other properties for rent. So then we tried riding around for like, it was a lot. My husband would be like, Harriet worked. He worked real hard, and then he'll have a rush get home to try to go look for some houses to rent. But there was none for us to rent. So like, what's going on? And then I remember what my godmother said. She ended up saying again, God gonna bless y'all with a house of your own. God showed her, but she just didn't say when he was gonna do it. She just said she knew that God showed her that God was gonna bless us with a home of our own. So I was like, okay. So then I was like, me and my husband came together. We was thinking about like what she said. We was like, well, maybe we should probably like pray about it and then probably look for a place to buy or look into that. So when I tell you, this was never God. In the small amount of time we had, my husband did exactly what he needed to do, like to get his credit fixed. And God had a lot of favor on us with it. I know it was something on there that they just was like, we wiped that away. But it was some stuff that he did have to take care of that he did take care of on his credit, and it was good. So then we went through this. First, we talked to my godparents asking about different home buyers programs, and they found some good ones, and we looked into it. But the only thing that was hard for us was that we had to both attend the class, but you could not bring your kids, and we didn't have a babysitter. So then we ended up finding out this one that was right around the corner from the house that we was living in. I think it was called Lee May Housing, and then it was another one too that my husband did. I think it was like Beyond Housing. So we did the first time homebuyers program. So we did all. Well, I didn't really do nothing because they went off his income because he was only one working. So they went off his income. He did everything that he. That's one thing I will say about my husband. He just own his business. Like he don't slack. He just get it done, and that's what he did. So after that had happened, I remember that he did all the information that he needed to do, and then we just started looking on our phones, like looking up different houses, go driving around, looking outside to check out the neighborhoods and look at the houses. And then I remember that we had to find a realtor. So the first house we seen, it was in a good neighborhood, but that mug was looking like it was something going on, like paranormal activity going on. Or it looked like it was finna collapse. Something was not right. So we was like, yeah, we don't want that one. So then we still need to have a realtor. So then we end up finding a realtor. She was really sweet. She really was. We end up looking at, how many houses did we look at? We looked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think maybe 5, maybe 6, but I'm thinking just maybe 5. It could have been 6. But we looked at, and it was just an area that specific area we was trying to move in. And we were looking at these houses, and well, before we had got this woman realtor, we went to see another house with a man. And when we synced it, it was nice. But then at the last minute, he said it has asbestos. And I'm like, nobody want a house that got asbestos. I'm trying to be bougie, but we just went through all this problems with this other house. No. So we passed that up. So then after that, we met the woman realtor, and then she took us to see like a couple of other houses in the same area. And these houses, they were nice, but it was just certain things that were just like, it's just like, I remember looking, I was just like, oh no. So then I remember I talked to my godmom again, and she said she'd been praying for us, that God will bless us with something that we won't think we can afford. Like she'd been praying for that for us. So we was like, we was thankful for that, because it's always good to have somebody wise in the picture to help lead you and steer you in the right direction and to pray for you. But anyways, after that, I remember we kept looking at other houses with this realtor. And I remember that I was on my phone looking up houses. And then I seen this house, and I'm like, okay, the outside look cool, but what about the inside? So I seen the inside, and I was like, oh my gosh, this house is so cute. Like, oh my goodness, it's so cute. So then I didn't instantly fall in love with it. I just thought it was really cute. So then I showed my husband, I'm like, look at this house. What do you think of it? He like, this house look a little bit more decent than the other houses we ever seen. So I remember that we showed her that house. I don't know why I just smacked like that. Well, we showed her, we was like, we want to view this house. So we viewed 2 houses, I think, in one day. No. I think we viewed this house first when we asked her, could we view some more houses? No. We viewed this house first when she was our realtor. We first viewed this house because this is what the one I was looking at on my phone. And so we looked in the house and I was just like, oh my gosh, I like this house. And I looked around in the living room. The living room was so big. It had a dining room too, and it had a nice little cutout kitchen area with the nice granite counters, and the appliances were new, and it came with the house, and they had hardwood floors because I ain't want no ugly carpet. I ain't got nothing against carpets. But when you got little bitty kids, they would tear it up. And I was carpet cleaning all the time. And I didn't want to do that. So it had hardwood floors. I was like, oh my gosh, these hardwood floors are so cute. And then they had like these nice little rooms that I'm in now. I will show y'all, but this is my kids' playroom. It look a mess right now. But they had these rooms that was like small and big enough for our kids. And then they had like these little crawl spaces, these little closets. And I'm like, oh my goodness. But one thing I did like, the other room is right across the hall from this one that I'm in. So in that room, it looks the same way, just like this room. It has two crawl space closets. Oh my goodness. When I tell you, one of the closets used to be somebody's prayer room. It had like a cross stuck in the wall area, like a little cranny of the wall was stuck there. And it was somebody's prayer area. Like it was a prayer closet. I'm like, that is so amazing. So I was like, that's something that stood out to me. So then I looked at this house and I don't know, I was just like, and then it had 2 bathrooms. And I was like, yes, we need this because I'm tired of peeing on the seat and not letting the seat down. We need this. And so I remember I just loved the backyard. The backyard was so huge. I was like, Lord, that backyard is amazing. We never had a backyard that big. And we got all these kids. We need this backyard. And the drive-through was just, I don't know, drive-through was just so long and big. You ain't gotta, complain about people, because at the other house, people's complaining like, you parking in my parking space, because it was like that type of street where you had to park. You didn't have a garage or anything. That was the worst. But it was just like, this one had a garage and a shed and a long drive-through. You can invite anybody over for a birthday, and they could park in the driveway, and there's enough room for everybody. And you could park in your own driveway, and you could use your own garage. It was just like, oh my goodness, I love this house. So then I prayed about it. But then we was like, you know what? We looked at it again. Then we said, you know what? We want to try for this house. So then I remember that my husband did mostly everything because they went through his income. So he did everything he had to do. And right when we was at the little last part of wanting to close the deal, we had to bag out because the price, we couldn't even afford it. So then I was really sad because I'm like, I love that house. I just love that house. So then I prayed about it, and we both prayed about it. So it was like, well, maybe we got to find something different. And if we got to find something different, that's okay. It's fine. I was still at this point. I was like, oh my gosh, with the house. But anyways, after that had happened, she would help us to go look at other houses. So it was another house right around the corner from the house that we really liked. That house was nice. Only thing I didn't like is that it was so ghetto. There was a shower in the basement. And I ain't talking about like you go up in her bathroom in the basement and it's a shower. I'm talking about as soon as you walk in the basement, the shower right there hanging from the ceiling. And it's just a whole basement floor with nothing. It was weird, and then it had cabinets, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like a backwards house, like maybe the piping wasn't right. Because what I was looking at, it just didn't seem right to me. Then it was like, if you want to put a toilet down here, you gotta dig up the concrete. I'm like, I ain't got time for that. But the backyard was cute. I mean, it wasn't the biggest the backyard of the other house, but it was really nice because they had like this little patio thing with a fan that you could sit in and just watch kids run around. It was a nice house, but it just didn't feel like home. Then we seen some other houses, and it just didn't seem like home. So then the realtor that we did have, she she did have heart problems a little bit, but she did like get surgery a long time ago. And I guess it was a lot of stress of her having to drive all the way to St. Louis, to where she was living at. It was like Troy, Missouri, or something like that, or Illinois, or something. It was a far drive for her. So she said that we need to get another realtor. So we had to do that. So then we ended up getting this one realtor, and she was not good. Being honest, she was not good. My advice to anybody out there that is trying to buy a house for their family, get a realtor that actually cares, that can help. And I know some people that do realtor that can help, and I can let you know. But anyways, I remember that after that had happened, we had to get another realtor, and this realtor was just unreliable. That I'm gonna just be nice as I can to say it in a nice way. She was unreliable, and she didn't really care. She was just like, okay, well, I'm your realtor, that type of vibe. But anyway, so I remember that after we had got this new realtor, we had to do all the work. She didn't do a doggone thing. We had to call her like, hey, we trying to see this house. And then we even had to go behind her to call her assistant, like, hey, why she not doing nothing? We need some help. So then that process was so frustrating. And then she ended up coming out. We seen I'm thinking like maybe 4 houses, maybe 3. And the houses she sent us to looked like something out of a horror story, like straight crazy, like half done, like, it was just, we was looking for something that was ready to move in. And then, by the way, I forgot to mention this. We end up putting in, we end up talking to the people that we was renting from at the time, tell them that we trying to move, because this is just not getting better. And we sent a letter and everything like that to let the landlord know, like, hey, we trying to move because you're not fixing these repairs in this house that we rented from. So then one of the property managers agreed that she would talk to the landlord to see if she can give us, if they can cut our lease and it won't be on our credit. So that's what the agreement was, but we were supposed to be out at a certain time. So it was a stressful process looking for a house because we had to be out at a certain time. So then I remember that so while I was looking for houses, we had to extend our time, maybe like another week there at that house that we did not enjoy. We was renting from, so we had to extend it. But while we extended that time for a week, we went to go look again for some more houses. And our realtor, the new one, was taking us to houses that looked a hot mess. And then we still seen this house up that we really liked. So we were like, hey, maybe we could try to look at this house again. So even though we pulled out of the deal because we couldn't afford it, we wanted to look at the house again. So she made it to where we could look at the house again. So then I remember that we came to this house. She was talking to my husband downstairs. I came upstairs and I said, God, I really want this house. And if it ain't for us, that's fine. I'll be content. But I remember I said and this probably sound crazy, but I just felt like I needed to take some faith. I had took some blessed oil off my head because I usually carry blessed oil in my bottle, but I didn't have my bag with me. It was in the van. And I took the blessed oil off my head and I anointed this door and I anointed the other bedroom door and I prayed and I said, God, if this house is for us, bring it to pass. But if it ain't, intervene and lead us to where you'll have us to go. Show me and my husband. So then we knew we couldn't get this house, but we wanted to look at it anyway because I was so in love with it. And he liked it too in the backyard. That's the main thing. My kids and my husband really love that backyard. And I really love that kitchen and the bathrooms, and everything else. But anyways, so then after that, I remember that we left, seen another house. We did not like it. And I remember that we went to sleep, went home, went to sleep. I remember I had this dream about that house I really liked. And I had a dream that the owner, he was an Asian guy. I remember I had a dream that I was in the car with the owner. And he was talking to me. And I remember that we came to the house and he brought down the price. And we were able to afford it. So then I remember that I woke up and I told my husband about the dream. He said he had a dream. It wasn't just like mine, but it was about the price being brought down. So we pursued the house again. And so he ended up agreeing, like, hey, okay, price will be brought down. And after that had happened, we went through the process again. And while we was going through the process, we would come and check. There were some repairs that needed to be made. Some of them weren't made. Some of them were. Some of them wasn't. One of the things that God showed me in the dream was that the roof needed to be done over. So me and my husband stressed about how the roof needed to be done over, how he needed to do the roof over. We didn't think he was going to do it, but he actually did the whole roof over. So praise God for that. So then after that had happened, I remember that we looked at the house again and we signing papers and things like that. And then I remember the day that we closed. Best day ever. So we literally packed everything up. We cleaned out the other house that we rented from. We cleaned it up, carpet cleaned it from head to toe. And then I remember when we did that, we packed everything on a U-Haul, locked up the U-Haul, went to sleep, woke up in the morning bright and early. I drove the van. My husband drove, his car was at the U-Haul place, but he drove the U-Haul to the house. And we drove in the van together to the closing. And then I remember we was closing on the house and it all worked out. We had to wait like maybe an hour or something until like the process went through to the funds were transferred to the man. And once they were, we moved in. And it is a good house. Don't get me wrong, it has its flaws, just like any house that you would buy. But we love it. It's perfect for us and we're enjoying it. And as we speak, we've been painting it. I mean, nothing was wrong with the paint before, but we wanted to go with another color. So we're just trying to fix it and make it look like a home. But we've been living here since September of last year. So it has been great. The backyard. I love the backyard. I love the backyard. I love the kitchen. The kitchen is so adorable. Then my husband just painted most of the house. So the house is looking even more better with this new coat of paint. And we're going to decorate it later. And I don't know if I'm going to do a house tour because I'm kind of like a private person, but I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But I did want to share our testimony about how God did it for us. We went from a raggedy apartment to a raggedy one-bedroom house to house for rent, but it ended up going bad. And God gave us an upgrade. There's a Bible scripture in the Bible that says, I will make, if you be faithful in the small things, I'll make you ruler over big things. Sometimes you have to, well, not sometimes, but all the time you have to be content where you at until God elevates you and move you into something different. Not just only naturally for moving in homes, but spiritually as well. We have to be content and faithful and keep our ways before him and let him move us in the direction he would have us to go or where he wants us to be or who he wants us to be. But yeah, that's our testimony about how we got our house. And yeah, if you got any questions about like homeowners program or first time buyers programs, I can't answer those because I don't really know too much about them, but I know my husband know a lot about them and I can get a lot of information from my godfather because he knows a lot about them. But yeah, I thank you guys for just tuning in to this testimony about how we got our house. And I just want to encourage you that if you're in an impossible situation where it looks bad with your living circumstance, God can do it. You know, he can provide, he can supply your needs. And even if you're dealing with slum landlords, I'm telling you, we been to court, been there, done that one because we did what we needed to do. And God was faithful to us. And we were honest in the situation. And also, when we moved into this home, the place that we used to rent from tried to make us pay large fees for stuff that we didn't even break. That was normal wear and tear. But God worked that situation out where He deducted to a low price and we paid that price. So there's nothing that He cannot do. He's able to do anything and everything. So if you're looking for a living arrangement, live somewhere to live, not even if it's just somewhere to live, if it's your health or a friendship or a relationship or marriage or anything that you're having trouble with in your life, just know that He able to do it. But I thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to keep praying for you all. And if you can, share this testimony on your social medias. That way other people can hear the goodness of God. And please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell so you can get notifications for new testimonies and new content that we be posting. I love you guys, and I pray that your night is blessed.